Everyone, hello. This is Jeannie Pirtle from Historic Sotterley. Thank you for joining me for the first episode of The Big Picture. This is all new to me, so we're learning together, aren't we? So first of all, I had to go indoors. I am at Sodderly, but I had to go indoors. It is very windy today. And so I am indoors, but you should see the red buds and all the spring trees out here. They're beautiful. So I see some visitors enjoying them right now. Hi, Jane. I will take some good pictures for you later and share them, but they're just gorgeous. The pollen is heavy, just to let you know, but maybe your mask will help with that. I don't know. Yes, I do have a mask that my daughter made me, so I'm out of some leggings. So I'm good to go to the grocery store on my way home. So thank you once again for joining me. You are welcome to like and comment anytime you wish, ask questions. My email is education@sodderly.org. If you need to reach me that way, questions are welcome. Be nice and civil. I do have delete power, so but questions are totally welcome. And because it's live and people go in and out from these kinds of things, every once in a while I'll stop and welcome people that are just joining us, so be prepared for that. This is being recorded to put on our site later in case you don't get to finish or you want to see it some other time. That is perfectly all right with us. So for the first episode, I always appreciate people that get me, where I'm coming from, and I thought that would be a good place to start. So on my first visit in my life to Sodderly, and this is years before I ever worked here, so this was a long time ago. Then I really was kind of antsy and wanted to get out of the house, and I said, I've heard of Sodderly. Let's go walk around. I want to see it. I was always a Williamsburg fan, so I'm not native to Maryland, so in St. Mary's County, so I asked to go out, and we came to Sodderly, and I was here for the first time, and I remember how beautiful it was. I remember walking the grounds, walking the gardens, and walking down what we call the rolling road to the slave cabin. And the door was open, and a big fat groundhog jumped out. So that was my first experience at Sodderly. It's when the visitor center was still up here by the house. So that was quite a while ago. So that was my first experience here. Just walking the grounds. I don't remember taking any tours or anything like that, just walking the grounds. So you can still do that now. So I worked as I'm a teacher by trade, professional teacher. I worked for the school district, local school district. I worked on base for Wiley, then it was called Wiley, and made a lot of money working for PMA 265. Hi guys, if you're looking, and gals. So I still run into people that I worked with there. In 2010, my husband sent me this one ad, and it was for an education director position at Sotterley. And my husband sent me the email and said, "This is your job." So I took him up on it. I called, got an interview, told a few people I trusted at PMA 265 to give me a reference, and had the interview and got the job. And that was August of 2010. So I'm coming up on my 10th anniversary here at Sotterly. Can't believe time has gone by that fast. But timing is everything. So I got here in 2010, and right at that time, The site was getting ready to the Meredith Taylor. So I'm going to mention a lot of names today because I owe these people a lot, and you can't do. Hi Gina. Thanks for joining us. So Meredith Taylor and Ken Cohen. So they are two people that I worked with closely through an IMLS grant to redo the interpretation. So I'm brand new. I'm learning the old tour when I first got here. And if you know the old tour, it was your typical house tour. A lot of colonial legends and lore, not too deep on the stories yet. Some, yes, but not all. So through that, I learned a lot. We got to delve in and do a lot of research and find out these stories about the people. And I'm a people historian, so I love architecture. I love the buildings. I love all of that. I love the landscape. I love the environment. But unless I can tie how it affected the people, that's what really interests me. So stories. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for joining us. So timing is everything. So when I arrived, we were just starting that process. So I was green. I really knew nothing as far as, I had my experience. I had my teaching experience, but about Sodderly, pretty clueless when I started. And then about the same time, there was 1812 Mania came about. So there was a lot of grant money in Maryland, especially, I think, with the 1812 story. So everybody all the museums, they were doing projects for 1812. I was on several committees with exhibits and that kind of thing, 1812. A lot of lectures, a lot of good books came out then. And Sotterley, thanks to one grant from Maryland Humanities Council at the time, did their own project, and we did a living history of the choice that you can still watch on our video channel that we have. So check that out if you haven't seen that yet. But we did that for 3 years. The script was written, and to write the script, there was a lot of research going on, and that's when the stories of the enslaved that left here, the 48, 49 people that left here in 1815 came to light, and we learned a lot about these people. And Maryland State Archives caught on that we had a huge story here with so many leaving at the same time. Hi, Jay. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Jan. So they caught on that we had a big story, so they sent some people to the National Archives in England. They didn't take me, unfortunately, but what they did was research the ship manifests, and so they actually found the names of our people, some of our people, to find out what happened to them. And then there were some documents in the Nova Scotia archives. So there's a whole lot of research, a lifetime of research that needs to be done still on all those people. So that's how we know, for instance, that Peregrine Young, one of the enslaved here during the War of 1812, had died on ship. So the stories get deeper and deeper the farther you go into the research. So I call that the 1812 Mania. So think about how the 1812 Mania, our reinterpretation here at Sodderly, is going on all at the same time. So it can't be an accident, right? So, and also another event that happened soon after I got here was I went to a meeting of the Maryland Commission of African American History and Culture, and I first heard the name Ann Shin. Ann Shin is the president of the Middle Passage Ceremonies and Port Markers Project. Ann Shin changed my life, and we still owe her a debt of gratitude. So I met Ann Shin and her sister-in-law, Ann Cobb. Ann Shin actually lives in Florida, and Ann Cobb is in Baltimore, her sister-in-law. So I call them the two Anns. Whenever I say the two Anns, that's the two people I'm talking about. So during the research, when all this 1812 stuff and all the reinterpretation things, we kind of knew we had evidence that there were ships with enslaved people here coming to Sotterley, but really there wasn't a solid connection to the owner here at the time, James Bowles, who was the owner before it was even called Sodderly. But since then, I found the document that links James Bowles to the ship Generous Jenny. So the two Anns came to Sodderly. I showed them the documents, and we became part of the Middle Passage project, which you can go online, and I will be providing after every session some links to all of these things, so you can go and look for yourself. But they have over 40 documented Middle Passage sites to North America, and we are one of them. And I'm not through with the Ann Shin story. We had a first ceremony here in 2012 that was moving, and we celebrated, and Ann Shin helped me through the whole way. I mean, hi Tony, I have to have mentoring when I go through this. I am a white woman, so I have to have my mentors guide me through some of these things, and I am so thankful for people like Ann, the two Anns, and Meredith and Ken and other people I'm going to mention today, because I can ask them anything, I can tell them anything, and they will tell me the truth, and they will give me the lowdown, and they will tell me, if I'm going in the right direction or the wrong direction. Hi, Kim. So that happened. And also right now I want to mention all my local mentors, Janice Walthour, Iris Ford, Julia King, and Kent Randall. All these people are instrumental in my life and my research and the story here at Sotterley. Also, some great interns. We've had 3 spectacular interns that won Sotterley Awards from St. Mary's College of Maryland. Austin Kibler, who was here during the time that we did the reinterpretation. I couldn't have done it without him. Craig Tyre, who is a history major, and he works for museums here in the county, and he's one of our go-to people when we need something done. And Jessie Fisley, who's a recent intern, but she's now working at the library in Calvert County. So this dispels the myth that everybody can we're independent and we don't need anybody. Really, that's silly. Our country wasn't founded by one person. It takes other people helping other people, and we really are having that pounded home to us right now. So also my partners in crime. So we when I first got here, I was the ed team, right? I was the only person. I took care of K through 12 and did all this other stuff. Well, through a grant from Newman Zone, we were able to hire an ed coordinator. So the ed coordinators took off of my plate some of the grunt K through 12 work so that I could do the other things like the research and all of that. So first, Marianne Granada. Marianne has moved on, but now she works for hospice. Love Marianne. Thank you, Marianne. And my partner in crime now is Catherine Humphreys. Unfortunately, Catherine is laid off right now, but you know, people think, oh, K through 12, but she does so much more. She's a wonderful writer. She knows Sotterley backwards and forwards, and she is really an asset. So I miss you, Catherine. So, and our instructors, when I first got here, there were 3 instructors that were expert teachers. They'd been teaching at Sotterley the whole time, even before I got here. Leslie Burgess, hi Leslie, and Carol Wogamuth, and Mary Southern. So those 3 giant ladies are also my mentors. And our community partners. Sotterley is not in a bubble. We're part of a community. So some of our community partners, UCAC, and they all have websites and they have cool stuff on their websites. So go visit their websites or join, okay? UCAC, NAACP, and St. Mary's College of Maryland. Another mentor, although I only was an acquaintance with her toward the end of her life, but I consider her a mentor because there's not a day goes by here that I don't think of her or look at her research or somehow she touches me. Agnes Kane Callum. Agnes Kane Callum came here in about 1972 with her father. And think about St. Mary's County in 1972. She visited the museum. She saw the basic house tour, but there was nothing really about the enslaved. So she asked, what's that building down the hill? And they said it's the slave cabin. Well, she made it her life's work to get the story of her ancestors, the Kane family, told at Sotterley. She was a very patient person. This did not happen overnight. This did not sink in. She put up with a lot. And next week, I'm going to cover some of her oral history, and we're going to read some first-person accounts of people that lived here and worked here. And so I hope you'll join me for that. But she was instrumental and persistent. She never gave up, no matter what opposition. She aligned herself with the owner here at the time, Mabel Sodderly Ingalls, and Briscoe Descendants, Jan, and her father, John Hanson Briscoe. And she got it saved. So one thing that amazes me is how Sodderly is still even here through wars with the British. And hi Terry, hi Karen, hi Pamela. So that it's even here with, the Revolutionary War, with the War of 1812, where they burned a lot of houses. So it's made it through natural disaster. It's made it through bad management. It's made it through all of this. And to me, and I guess it's my worldview, there's got to be a reason for this. There's got to be Tony, I see you. Love back. So there's got to be a reason for that, why Sotterley is still here. And my conclusion is these stories of these people. This is transcendent. This will last if Sotterley is no longer here, because now people know the stories. So hi Sarah, I'm getting a lot of my relatives on here, so that's nice. From far away, so I'm so happy you're joining us. So the reason it's here has to be deeper. So it's universal. It's these stories. So what my goal has always been is to get these stories out there, get these stories told. And another thing about our evolution here as a site is the slave cabin exhibit project was another thing I was totally involved with. And we had a ceremony here honoring Agnes, Kane, Callum. And it was at that time, if you were here for that, so it was at that time where we always had descendants involved. We always had some descendants like Agnes and the Briscoes, and Donald Barber. Let's not forget the Barbers and the Scribers that were here after slavery, working for the museum operations before that. 3 generations of those families, so let's not forget them. We'll read some of their stories next week. So we always had descendants and a few descendants on the board, and descendants involved pretty much. But it was decided that we would do an official descendants project. Love you too, sis. An official descendants project, because we knew that there were other descendants. We've got descendants all over the world. So by doing this, it's allowed us to connect with a lot more people. And if you think you're our descendant, make sure you get a form and fill it out officially. That way you get the newsletter, you get some perks, and you get to communicate. There's also a Facebook page for descendants now, so check that out. Look at our website and our Facebook, and find out where that is, and we'll provide all those resources. So, and it's taken off. All of these things have taken off, even beyond our expectations. Because the idea is that we feel that it is the descendants need to have the power to tell their own story and have a say in how it's told and presented. So the more descendants we get in leadership roles here, hopefully a descendant will take over my job someday. So that is the goal, and it's very successful so far. And spread the word, descendants. And then a shoot off, really, of the successful ceremony we had dedicating the slave cabin exhibit was for Agnes and her children. Was the Common Ground Initiative. So Common Ground Initiative is basically, we want a yearly program. The theme changes a little bit, but it's these educational together, time for us to get together, time for us to educate ourselves. And so conferences, speakers, even things we do on a regular basis, it can be adapted to be part of Common Ground. So I have a little committee of advisors that help me with this. And let me just say, I couldn't do anything without all of you, really. Our UNESCO Slave Root Site of Memory ceremony was totally beyond expectation. It started out in my mind as something we could do every year, small. People could come if they want, and it ballooned into this huge, wonderful event, thanks to my helpers, and thanks to the staff here, and thanks to Maryland Humanities for a grant. And if you were, if you were here for that event, please comment how it was and what your from your perspective, what was good about it. Anything you want. Okay. And then also we had another ceremony in 2014, placing our marker for the Middle Passage. The weather didn't cooperate that day, but it was still wonderful. And because of that, and I'm going to mention Ann Chin again. Ann Chin. Because she is so wonderful. She is responsible for us receiving, because it was all her, receiving, getting the paperwork in, getting that process in for Sodderly now as a UNESCO Slave Root Site of Memory. So that just gives you a rundown. So I became compelled to tell this story. There came a point where I was doing this for a higher purpose. It's not all about me. It's not all about Sodderly the institution even. It's about the people. When I was a kid, I was always drawn to stories of people who had to make impossible choices under unimaginable odds. Sodderly will always, and the stories here will always be a part of me. And there is some reason that Sodderly is still here. Wars, disease, natural disaster, ownership, changed ownership. There's a story to tell about people here that unlocks keys to our lives today. Health disparity. African Americans are dying at a faster rate, a higher percentage. That is nothing new. And that all has roots based in places like Sodderly. Through racial chattel slavery and the discrimination and Jim Crow after that. So those answers start here. And this is nothing new if you know your history. And that's what this generation is being forced to learn now. So that is nothing new. A consumer economy? That's because racial chattel slavery encouraged and allowed a consumer economy. They were consumer economy. James Bowles was consumer economy. He had the money, so he ordered goods from England. Because why? Because it was cheaper than having it done here. Does that sound familiar? Does that ring a bell? Yeah, all these kinds of answers are from learning these stories of the people that already lived this stuff. This history gives us strength and hope. And we need an unvarnished history. Like I started, and welcome for those that are just joining me. I started this talk when we first started, when the museum was young. It was very varnished. It was very romanticized. But hopefully we're getting better, and we need that unvarnished history. Some of our founding myths are just that. So why that helps us is it helps us accept the reality of what was to make better choices in our own reality. Seeing through the eyes of others' perspective is a must. The stories are out now, no matter what Sotterley the institution looks like, or even if it ceases to exist, because they're out. They're out to the descendants, and they won't let it die. When I'm dust, the stories are still there and won't be forgotten. But be careful. It's new territory. When you look at stories like these, it's all about self-examination. So when you start learning and telling these stories, don't be shocked if you have resistance, even from your own family. Don't be shocked, because this is uncomfortable, it's radical, but personal crisis makes you examine what you really believe and the mistakes you have made. So that's what's happening today. You know, we're having a crisis, so it tests what you really believe in. What works and what needs to be discarded, you figure that out. We're doing that right now at Sodderly. What works and what do we need to get rid of and stay rid of forever? It makes us better people on the other side. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And if you have any questions, you can write on the comments, or you can email me at education@sodderly.org. Be sure to share. If you like this, this will be recorded and posted on our site as soon as we can figure that out, Jane. And come back and see us, share. We will be right back here next week, next Thursday at 2 p.m. I'm going to go out now. I'm going to sign off in a minute, but before I leave site, I'm going to take some lovely pictures of these trees over here for you to see. So I hope all is well. I do have my mask to go out shopping, so I hope you're taking care of yourself, and I hope all is well. Have a wonderful day, you all. Thanks so much for joining us.